Well, hey, it's Lynn Brown, and welcome to the Gritty Women Global Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about what happens when it all hits the fan. I'm so glad you tuned in today. So, if this is your first time, welcome. We're glad you joined us. I'm a results coach, for those of you that don't know. And prior to that, let me just tell you like it is. I was a world-class people pleaser. Literally trapped by the opinions of others. It was more like really living in a mental prison. And then in my spare time, I was paralyzed by comparison. It's so interesting that when I would start to sense doubt or fear, that was up until now, back before my growth started. But when I would start to sense doubt and fear in my life, I would immediately go to comparison to fix it. And then the comparison only paralyzed me more. So it just kept me in that comparison trap. So let me just give you all hope. So this is what happened. One day, I literally just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I drew a line in the sand. Well, actually, I didn't really draw a line in the sand. I slammed my office door. And I literally said out loud, well, I kind of yelled. I looked up at the tile ceiling. There were stains up there. And I yelled, God, there has got to be more than this. And y'all, it was that day that things began to change. And the reason that things began to change that day is because that day I changed the way that I was looking at things. So there's a lot of truth to that. I used to think it was an outside in deal. I thought that my circumstances were driving my results. I thought my circumstances would never change. I thought that it was just the way it was. It is what it is. And I had begun to accept that as my reality forever. So, I'm not telling you my life's perfect. And so if you're looking for perfect people, sister or guys, if you happen to be listening, this is not the Perfect People podcast. So there are plenty of them out there, I'm sure. But this ain't it. In fact, just the last few days, I felt a little bit roller coasterish, and it's funny because the road that I live on is called Roller Coaster Hill. But and I'm not a big fan of roller coasters. So when I say I felt like I've been on a roller coaster, that doesn't mean yay eating cotton candy and smiling and laughing and having a big blast. I've just been very aware of some anxiety and some feelings, those types of feelings trying to enter back in. But the good news is now that because I'm aware of those things, I'm aware of the triggers. Honestly, I hadn't had a panic attack in probably 2 years now. But isn't it interesting? It was a couple of nights ago, I think on a Monday night, I noticed the lights in the kitchen they were like dim. They were like coming in and out a little bit. And I was like, what is this? So I went about my business trying to, at first, just dismiss it from my mind, but it just wouldn't go away. And so I began to experience some of those feelings that present themselves when anxiety steps in. So I quietly walked out and went to my prayer room. Now, if those of you are wondering, golly, a prayer room, that sounds neat. How can I set mine up? What's in yours? How does it look? Well, you all have one in your house. You probably have a couple of them. It's my bathroom. And I know that doesn't sound very heavenly, but I'm just telling you that's where the magic happens for me. When I go in there and I shut the door and I can get on my knees and don't have to worry about anybody, wondering what I'm doing or it doesn't even matter. It's just me and Jesus. And I'm just telling you that wasn't always the case. But I've been doing that now for, I think it was 20, maybe 14. I can't remember. I'll have to add that up for you. But I tell you all that to say that night I had to go back in there a couple of times. But the good news is that after about an hour or so, I noticed that the anxiety was gone. And I was so aware that I had And I don't always get it, trust me. But that night I got it. I was aware of the trigger. I pulled my tools out of my toolkit and I applied them. And so I'm just telling you that because maybe you know somebody that's dealing with this. Maybe you've dealt with it before. It's something that I never wanted to talk about ever, 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 ever. Because first of all, I didn't even understand what the feelings were. And then when I finally realized, ding dong, it's you're having anxiety attacks, then that's not really something, you want to put on your resume. But now it's like, you know what? It's once things are brought into the light, they have no power over you anymore. And there's so many people that have them. It's so much more common than uncommon. But so I just wanted to share that with you for anybody that might be struggling with that. But the bottom line is this: I am the only person that can change me. Other people might want to change me, and I'll be honest with you, I have tried to change other people before, and I don't know if you've ever done it, but it doesn't work out too good for me. First of all, you can't change anybody. The only person we can change is ourselves. And I'm a person of faith. I've grown up in a church. I grew up hearing all these verses, but I just heard the verses. I would write the verses down. And just because I had the verses written down in a book and I had notebooks full of them and I had Bibles underlined, I did not believe it for myself. I would read Romans 12:2, and it would say be renewed by the transforming of your mind. But I would just beat my head against the wall wondering why not me? Why could I not have that? Until I began to change. Until I began to change my thoughts and kind of rewire my thoughts. Honestly, y'all, when I first heard that there was something called personal growth and that you could actually create new habits and change your thoughts, I was afraid of that. I thought it was like some hooky dooky, wacky something. And I was like, oh, I can't get into that. That's that weird stuff. No, it's not weird stuff. It's in the Word. It is the living, breathing, fire-breathing Word of the living God. It is what we fight our battles with, y'all. But because it had, brain and thoughts and all that stuff, that is our subconscious. That is what drives our behavior. So that's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother day. But here's the deal. Romans 12:2 is not just a catchy verse that we put on a t-shirt or a screensaver or hang in your office. It's a life-changing force. Y'all, it is alive. It's one of God's promises for you and for me, and we can be transformed. I have been transformed. I am continuing to be transformed even today, better than I was yesterday, by the renewing of my mind. To be made like new. I looked up the word renew. To be made like new. Refreshed. I don't know about you, but there's some things that I would like to renew in my life, in my mind, in my thoughts, my results, in my finances. In my friendships. There are a lot of things that I want to see renewal, and I believe that the time is now. It is time for us to put aside the mask and put aside, the things that hold us back, and to really walk in our authentic, true selves. Y'all, you are capable. You're worthy. You're chosen. You're known. You are known by your Creator. You are loved. You are redeemed. You are accepted. You have everything. We just have to trust in our Creator. He is going to take care of you. He is going to guide you and direct your steps. But we got to get up, right? We got to get up off. We can't just lay on the mat by the side of the pool. We know the story. That guy did it 38 years. So we can't just lay there and beg and say, well, if it wasn't cloudy today, then somebody would probably come to the pool and they could help me, blah, blah, blah. No. That's a bogus story. That is something that you have created in your life, a paradigm, a story that plays over and over and over, and you think those same thoughts every day. And when the stuff does hit the fan, that's what you go back to. That's your go-to song, your playlist. That's what you go back to. And I'm here to tell you that in order for us to go forward and to become everything God created us to be, we have got to let go of everything that happened even this morning. It's so funny. The last couple of days I've been feeling this nudge. Unplug, Lynn, unplug. Could you put your phone down? Can you put your phone down? Well, God, I've got this big campaign going right now in our business. It's we got a big sale going on our products and people joining our teams. And I need my phone. Well, guess what? Today in my chair, in my little quiet time chair, I'm doing my gratitude, I'm doing my devotion, and all of a sudden I look and there's just this little tiny spot on my phone, and it wouldn't turn on and it wouldn't turn off, and guess what? It has crashed. So God's funny like that, isn't he? So anyway, I tell you this to say that you can begin creating new habits right now. And no, you don't even have to wait till January 1st. I mean, 5 years ago, I began writing daily gratitude. I'm starting my 6th year of that. It's not like I write for a whole month and skip a month. No, it's every day. Small acts daily, compounded. It's better to do a small act daily than have a big dream that you forget about. And then that one habit that I created led me to writing my seven dreams a day. And you write them as if they'd already happened. April the 13th, 2019, I started making my bed. I have not missed a day, including travel days. And now I've just shared with you the tools that I use to even prevent anxiety attacks, and I'm thankful I've been free from that for the past 2 years. I can remain calm now in almost every situation, except for the other day when a bee bit my grandson right under his eye, and honey was not happy. You hear me? But as we close out 2021, I would encourage you to think about what you want next December 31 to look like. Many of you know that wellness in body and mindset is my jam. It's what I live for. So I will continue to work towards being the best version of me. So what about you? So if you're interested in finding out more about our Gritty Healthy You in 2022, then reach out. You can text me. The number is 850-290-2446. And I'll send you all the deets. Again, that number is 850-290-2446. And that's just to find out more info on the Gritty Healthy You in 2022. And I will tell you this, we do have the big special going on through December 31st, so move fast if you listen to this in the next 48 hours. Move fast. I wanted to share this with you as we close. I want you to think about how you really see yourself. If you don't believe that you deserve the goodness and all that God has created and prepared for you, it's hard for us to believe that for anybody else. So either we radiate His light, or we either dole out shame to other people. I mean, we want this in our own lives. We believe this, we want to believe this for ourselves so we can believe it for others. So just grab hold onto this truth so you can look at other people and assure them that they're worthy of good things too, no matter what they've been told. Find generous people. Be around people that you want to be like. Do the work. Whatever the work is that you have to do. We all have different work that we have to do. Do the work that you have to do so that you can pour it back onto the people you love and you live with and you live by and you serve. Self-leadership and self-love and being your best gritty self pays great dividends. You're worth it. You are worth the work. So don't just look back and think about the good that has gone in the past, but look for the things that don't even exist yet. You deserve good things still. You deserve more. There's a lot of road ahead of you. And maybe this is the moment that you finally believe it. Maybe you finally believe Romans 12:2 for you. And no, you can't go back and relive the days behind you, but you can sure renew, redirect, refresh the ones to come. It's never too late. It's never too late. I just turned 59. And it's never too late. I love what Anne Lamott says. What if you wake up someday and you're you're 65 or 75 and you never got your novel written, or you didn't go swimming in warm pools and oceans all those years because your thighs were jiggly and you had a nice big comfortable tummy, or you just were so strung out on perfectionism and people pleasing that you forgot to have a big juicy creative life of imagination and radical silliness and staring off into space like when you were a kid, it's going to break your heart. Don't let that happen. So it's time. The world is so full of good, and it's time for you to shine bright, sister. So remember, until next time, gritty is the new strong. And text me. Let's see what we can do to make 2022 your best ever. The number again is 850-290-2446. Until then, happy 2022.